What's going on, guys? Kivox here, and technically this is not like, I'm not the intro Kivox, I'm like end of video Kivox that I think takes place like a good 4 months after the one that you're about to see. I'm just kind of like interrupting a little bit here because I just kind of want to give you guys a warning about this video because it was kind of like all over the place. The plan was to do a whole walkthrough of like the process of doing everything. And for the most part, I think I got like 70% of the way there. I skipped a couple things. It's just the first time I've tried to do a video like this, but also I don't have my proper setup. So it made it a little bit harder. Also, there was a lot of stuff going on. I mean, I'm not making excuses. I'm just trying to warn you guys on what to expect. It's a longer form video. I think it ended up being like 40 minutes. I'm not completely done editing yet, so I kind of don't exactly know, but I think it came out pretty good. I did finish the display. It is sitting right there. So that's good, right? Just bear with me. There's a lot of like skipped steps that I didn't get to record, one either snowing or something, but I kind of explained it in the video. It's a fun video. You may learn a couple things. I did do a couple of tips on like my thought process and how I do a couple things, or how I got to the step that I did. So if you guys may learn something from this, maybe you won't, leave a comment down below letting me know if you did learn anything, or if anything really. Just, you know, let me know if you guys like the final product. And I think that's it. Sorry for the ramble. And now you can go listen to me ramble some more. Take it away. What's going on, guys? Kivox here, and we're gonna be making a brand new wand display. And I've been kind of working on this for a while. I've been not working on it, but thinking about it, which is kind of like working on it. At least I kind of consider it working on it. I've had this piece right here of Purple Heart for a while, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make this display. It's gonna be cool. I had an idea, and I was just like, it's not good enough of an idea. So I figured, let me just sit on it and wait, see what happens, see if I can come up with anything better. Because that's usually what I do with the wands too. I'll have an idea for a wand, and then I won't really, like, it'll just be like a rough idea, right? I'll draw something really quick, rough idea, and then I go and I'll just sit on it. Or sometimes I'll start it, kind of like what I've done with this one here, where I started it and I haven't finished it yet. And it's mostly because I'm not 100% done with the creative process for it, I guess is the best way to put it. But I finally came up with a good idea. This is kind of weird because I actually started at this bottom and worked my way around this way for designing this rough idea. It may still change, actually. There may still be some other things that happen that will make me go in a different direction. This is going to be the display. Huh? It's pretty good, right? Okay, so it's gigantic, but I think it's going to be able to hold like a good maybe 18 or something like that wands, which will be pretty cool. But let's get back to the design here. The reason that those pieces of wood are actually slightly offset is because they didn't sit perfectly flush. So I had to shift them, and I also wanted the grain to be in a certain position. So I had to shift them a bit so that they would line up properly and just be as flush as possible. So basically the plan was going to be to just chop off the bottom and the top to make it square, and then make it a perfectly symmetrical design from there. But then recently I was just like, why should I do that? Why should I make it perfectly symmetrical? Wouldn't it be more fun and just more unique to make something like this? So I started off with this. So this was basically the general kind of shape for it. And then I started working my way this way. I started messing around with some swirls and stuff. Started to feel it a little bit. Then I was like, oh, what if I cut out a thing. Oh, what if I cut out a circle and put an insert in there that fits perfectly? And then I was just like, wait, what if I cut it out and don't make it fit and suspend it? Let's say, okay, here, let's say this is the thing, right? I were to put it here and I were to cut this out, I could perfectly insert it in there, right? Probably be a little bit tough to get it to be perfectly aligned. But the other idea would be, what if I suspended it, make it kind of float a little bit, with kind of make it look like it's floating as well. So for that, I thought, well, we'll take like two pieces, kind of put them together like this, and take a piece of acrylic across the back that you wouldn't be able to see from the front because of the shadow and stuff. I may still make one of those, but I went away from that. Going back to the drawings here. If you look at this one, this is kind of the general idea that we're gonna go with. I started off with a circle, and then eventually I decided let's try a square, diamond, and I think I settled on diamond. I started messing around with some other shapes as well, just to see if they would, if it would make sense. And then I wanted to also incorporate something from the top down to the bottom. And that's when I started adding in little bits like this or this over here. I tried a circle and a diamond. I tried another square here. This is kind of the direction that we're going right now. Things may still change once I start carving out stuff, but we are also going to add in a bunch of the carvings and the holy magic that that some of my wands will have. So that's the plan. We're gonna do a lot of carving on this piece to just give it that wand feel. Does that make sense? I think you guys get it. If you guys know, I've made a couple of other displays that I've shown off before. I've made that engraving right there. That is the Ender's Wands logo. First thing I did, I made a template here, and it says wand display hold template 10.25 by 8. So that's basically the size. And this is 9 wands that can be displayed here. And the idea is you just line this up where you want to make your holes, and then mark your holes, drill out your holes, pop in your wand holders, and then you're all set. So I made that, so if I make anything else in the future, I have my little template. Every time pretty much I've made the wand displays back there. Actually, I don't think you can see any in this shot, but this display, you can see every time I made this, I had to go and measure out the holes, drill out the holes. So this time I decided, you know what, let me just make a template. So if I make another display in the future, I don't have to worry about holes. All right, so let's talk about this. We're gonna pop an insert in here. This is a rough laser cut piece that I made, and this is just MDF. We're gonna actually use this really nice piece of aromatic cedar. I may have to cut it a couple of times, but look at how nice. Look how nice it's gonna look together, the two pieces. Once I stain this, it may bring out a little bit more of the color as well. Same thing with the purple heart, but basically this is gonna be cut out there. I'm gonna engrave it first, and then I'll cut it, and then we're gonna also cut out a piece like that. And that piece is gonna be for the bottom, and this piece will be for right up here. So let's pretend that this is going right there. So it will go right there. We're gonna give it a little bit of extra space so that there's a bit of an air gap between, and then we're gonna stitch it. We're gonna stitch it so that it's floating there. Honestly, I think that that's gonna look good. We're also gonna do the same thing. Let's say this is the top. We have this guy here. We are also gonna have this guy down here at the bottom. I'm not sure yet if we're gonna go that way, maybe hang it off the edge here, maybe partially go in. As we make this, we'll figure it out, but I may cut an angle here. It's not gonna be this piece, it's gonna be a part of that cedar, and then we're gonna use that for this. but we're gonna put that right here, maybe over. I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll see when we get to it. But for now, that's the plan. I'm gonna start working on that. I've made my templates and stuff so that I can start trying to cut these. We're gonna cut this on the laser. If you guys want me to make any more videos on my laser, I have a Glowforge, the basic Glowforge. I got it when it first came out. I was one of like the founder things for it, so I got it at like half the price. If you guys want anything like that, like a more in-depth or my thoughts on the Glowforge, I have some strong feelings about it. I'm thinking about getting a different laser at some point, but I think I want a CNC before I replace this laser. But the hardest part is going to be lining this up with this. I don't have a bigger piece of cedar. If I did, I could then kind of like, you know, guess where it's going to go and not have to worry about it. But with this piece, we are going to try to get it on there, and then we'll try to get the other piece right around there somewhere. And then we'll cut it out on the bandsaw, and we'll see how it goes. Again, the hardest part right now is going to be this next part, lining everything up. Here we have the laser going. It took me about 3 tries to get it lined up pretty well. I'm not going to be cutting it out of that piece. I just wanted to make sure that it was aligned. Problem is that I have to wait 3 hours now to be able to like confirm that everything looks good. So we'll we'll see what happens. Hopefully that comes out good. What I could start doing is I could start working on the actual board, the back board, I guess you can call it, the display. I don't know if I should wait for that so that I could line everything up properly. I feel like that's a better choice, is to do that. So I'm kind of stuck. I'm not going to be able to do anything until those 3 hours go by. And by that time, it will be night pretty much. So that's always fun. Anyway, let's go look at the results. All right. So 3 hours later, and it does seem like we did it. It worked. The size, it was close enough to the edge where it actually worked. So now we just gotta trim up a little bit on the top, trim up a little bit on the bottom, possibly take a little bit off of this side. You'll see in that time lapse that there are a couple of little lines that we're gonna probably lose out on, just due to it's not gonna be engraved deep enough on the wood itself, but I think it's gonna look good. So the reason I put the tape on here, as you can see, that's the wood. I put the tape is just to protect it. So when this is engraving, it will create a lot of soot. So to prevent that, we put a little bit of some masking on it. And then I just put a piece of masking tape around it to make sure it stays nice and tight and doesn't pop back off. So the next step is going to be left for another day because it is already pretty late here. And we're just going to chop this up and start measuring the actual plank here so that we can start to get it ready. But first, let's peel this. Okay, so it's been a little while. I think it's been about 2 or 3 weeks since that last section. A couple weeks ago, I did get a little bit of work done. I was not able to record it. It was snowing a little bit, and I was out here on the deck getting some work done. So, and I also got a little bit excited because I liked how it was coming out, so I just kept working on it. So, that being said, the neighbor is doing some work right now in his yard because it's January, but it's like 40, no, I think 35 right now. 36. So it's 36 degrees. We got a little bit of flurrying, but I'm gonna try to record a little bit out here today. I made a mess last time I was here on the deck, and then it rained, and then it froze. So we got some frozen wood chips all over the place. I think it's coming out pretty good. I do have a lot more to do. And as you can see here, the deck is a disaster. I even have some on the window over there. Yeah, I'm gonna make a little bit more of a mess before I clean all this up. But as you can see here from the top, this guy is gonna go right in there. And then this one I'm gonna put over here. I still, like I said, have a lot more carving to do, a lot more. This is gonna have to be a lot deeper. You see there's still a lot of wood chips in there and stuff. I'm gonna try to get as much work as I can done today. It's not actually sunny out. It's bright enough, but it's not sunny. Someday we're gonna be working in there so that I don't have to deal with all of this cold. But yeah, so the plan for today is to continue to carve all of this, go deeper, add in some more small divots, do some more to this as well, and then eventually I'm gonna have to figure out where the holes are gonna go so we can attach the string or the metal. I don't know yet what I'm gonna use, but this is the shape that I went with. And I think it came out pretty nice. This is gonna look really good right here. I may cut in a little bit more here, round this off. I'm just kind of going with it and seeing what the wood wants to do and kind of what ends up happening. I think that these edges came out pretty good. I used the router on here. I kind of went, I didn't want it to be perfectly even. I only wanted some spots to look like it. Like right here, I went super, super low with it, and then I pulled it out a little bit more. But I'm also gonna carve this out more here, so it's gonna look even more distressed or uneven. This side's pretty straight. I tried to keep it as straight as possible with the tool axis that I have right now. This looks pretty good. And then right here, we chopped it up a little bit more. And again, this is gonna be chopped up even more. So it's been a little while since that last clip. It's been roughly 2 months. We've just been getting some weird weather here. Right now it was sleeting. Now it's just a gross cold rain outside. But the good news is that first of all, this video wouldn't be coming out unless I was done with this, which technically I'm not done, but I'm gonna try to finish it in this video. I'm gonna, yeah, or in this section, okay? And but I did do most of it. I got it at like, you know how I always talk about when it comes to wands, I always talk about like that last 10%. That's kind of where we're at right now. We're at that last 10%. So I feel like it's at like 100% right now. Like it's good enough, but not at the same time. So we need to get that extra 10% out of it. I am fairly happy with how it came out, or how it's coming out. There's just one thing that I think I still need to fine tune a little bit more, and then the finishing touches. So, boom. Here it is. I know it's really hard to see, but the thing that we're gonna do today is, you guys can see all the stitch. You know what? Let's change to the other camera. Here it is. So a couple of things, right? We did all the holes. There are a few that actually will go all the way through. And that's what allows us to wrap the string all the way around. Now, the issue that I have is once I finish this, I just felt like the string was a little too strong. You can see, I mean, I think it looks pretty good, but the problem is that this is just, it's too light. It pops too much. So the plan for right now is to do a little bit of some weathering and some aging to this string. So I could also change the color to like a more natural, like brown color. I do have this really nice piece here that I always end up using for one thing or another, but I didn't want to use this. I wanted to go with the silvery string because it kind of makes the purple pop more, you know? This won't pop as much on this surface, and it'll kind of blend in with this color, the cedar color. So I think the silver will kind of contrast a little bit better with both, and also accent, oh, you can't see that, accent these. Also, we are missing the other pieces here. If you guys remember, we made this a little while before, and this way. We made this a little while before, and it's the same thing. I only put these in because these need to be screwed in, and these guys don't. This also helps me when I flip it over and I'm working on the back, which you can see the back is a little bit, it's very much more stitched. This is where all the ugly work is, where all the tie-offs are on the back. But you can also see that there aren't a lot of holes that go all the way through. I don't know yet if I'm gonna cover up the back or not, or just leave it the way it is. It's gonna go up on a wall anyway, so we'll find out. We'll see what we do. I'm pretty happy with this. I'm glad that it came out like my vision, like my drawing. Hold on, where's my drawing? I had it. This is one of the more recent drawings when I was actually finally getting around to what I was gonna do. I changed obviously a little bit here where I pushed it off to the left and made it, it's very difficult to show you guys all of this. I changed the way that this is a little bit, but I love how the string look came out. I may add a little bit more. We'll see what happens. But right now, the plan is to age these up a little bit. I thought about using black. I think what I'm going to be using is a little bit of a, I do have a purple, no, I think I have a blue, like weathering thing that I may use. But if not, I may water down some blue and, there's like fur on this. I may water down some blue and red to make purple, and then just kind of brush it on lightly and then rub it off. I think that may look okay. I gotta do some experimenting first to see if that'll work. I still have some of the silver string, so I think I'm gonna do a little bit of experimenting first to see how it comes out, or how it can look if I just put a little bit of color on there and then kind of rub it off. We will see. Worst case scenario, I just have to cut it all off and do it with another color. This is the type of stuff that sometimes I'll look at and I'll be like, oh, maybe this would look cool. And I don't know, it's kind of cool looking. All right, so this is a very light wash, as you can see. It's barely sticking to anything. And that's what I want right now because I don't want paint. I want almost like something to just dirty the string. I think this will work. We're gonna give it a shot. Let's start at the bottom here because this is the easiest place to replace if I have to. I'm actually going to change my mind a little bit halfway through this. And I'm gonna make a different set of paint here that is slightly stronger. All right, so this one is probably like 3 to 1 with the water being the greater ratio. I think this wash will be a little bit better. We'll see. All right, so I'm gonna do this wash for the sections that are on the plaque part, and then the sections that are over the Purple Heart part, and then the sections that are over the cedar, I think I'm gonna go with that lighter wash. Trying to get this a little bit more purpley. So guys, a lot of my work, a lot of my wands and stuff that I make, I would say are kind of this process where I experiment a lot and see how things turn out. And sometimes they turn out nice, sometimes they're not as nice. But you just keep working on it, and eventually, hopefully, you make something that you're proud of. It's kind of my motto. You just keep whacking it until it's what you want it to be, you know? Throwing ideas at it, figuring it out. And again, right now, I'm just hitting the parts on the cedar with that lighter wash so that it's not as dark. It's usually what lighter means. Thank you. I'll just add a little bit of purple into here. Little dabs. Get some dabs off of there. And this is what I'm talking about, right? I'm not really happy with how it's coming out. I don't know. I just don't think that's the right look that we're looking for. Okay, so I'm gonna try to hit it with a little bit of black just to see if it makes any sort of a difference. I think it's already looking a little bit better with the black, to be honest. The purple is poking through a little bit, but not quite that much. And we kind of want it to poke through a bit. I'm gonna rub it a little bit more. We'll just see what happens. All right, so I'm gonna add a little bit of silver into the black here. This is actually a pearlescent silver, so it shouldn't be too crazy. It should still stay pretty gray or black as it looks like. All right, let's just rub that in. Rub that in. Again, we're not trying to make this look pretty. We're trying to make it look dark and sinister, I guess. This next part, now that we have most of the color down, this next part is going to be a dry brush. So the way dry brushing works is usually you want to use a slightly stiffer bristled brush. You don't want it to be too soft. You want it to be, you know, nice and stiff. So the whole point of it is you're going to put some, well, the point of it is to accent highlights or high spots, create highlights type thing. So what we're going to do is we are going to get a little bit of paint on this. We're going to go with the silver to add a little bit more pop to this. And we're going to get some paint on here and then brush most of it off. Ergo dry brush, right? Let's get a little bit on here. Damn, I'm like running out of this stuff. All right, so most of it on there. I'm going to brush most of it off so that you're really not getting anything. But when you go over something like that, you're gonna get little highlights here and like on the high spots. Basically, wherever the brush touches, you're gonna get some high spots. and it's really not that noticeable, but at the same time, depending on how you do it, how much paint you have, it will be. This is pretty light, so it's not gonna give us a lot of contrast. But now on the actual purple part of it, we can hit some of these little corners here, some of these high spots, or I guess they're considered high spots, right? We're just doing that to add a little bit of that silver blush almost to it. I'm hitting the string with it too. Because I actually do want that to pop, but I want it to stay dark, but I want it to also at the same time have a little bit of a dry brush look. That will bring a little bit more continuity between the look of this and that, where they both have a little bit of a silver brush on it. Okay, so I'm feeling pretty good about this. The next step is going to be to clear it. So I'm going to pop it over to the other room, and I'm going to spray it down with some with a clear coat. But first I'll probably vacuum it up a little bit because I think there's some sawdust in a couple spots and some dust. All right, guys. So you pretty much have already seen like the final product, but it's not really the final product, but it was pretty dang close. But here it is. It's a giant surfboard of a display. Ended up being 16 standoffs, I guess you could say. And they do go back and forth. So the wands don't all go in the same direction. They do alternate directions. And I think it came out pretty good. The big news for this guy is that I am going to be giving it away. As much as I would love to keep it because I think it's the best display I've ever made. I've only made like 4 or 5 maybe. This is by far took the longest. As beginning me, this version of me told you, it was like a good 4 months. Right now it is the end of April. So yeah, 4 months basically. I mean, if you count it from the beginning of that video when I started recording, it's been about 4 months. All right, so what I ended up doing on the back was I ended up painting the back all black, and I did a hanger, a center hanger here, right? So it's just a string. You guys probably can't see it all that well. There we go. So there's a string here. You're gonna hang it in the center. So just hang up a nail where you want it to go. It is fairly heavy, so I would recommend probably finding a stud if you can. And then I made this little display right, or wait, where is it? I made this little guy right here on the back, and I just basically, I kind of cheated because the point of this is to lift the weight. So when you hang something with a string, usually it tends to lean forward like this, right? So what I did here by adding this little block right here with some little rubber feet kind of standoff things, what that does is it pushes the bottom of the display forward a little bit, right? So then when it's hanging, it tends to not want to go like that anymore. So that was the point of that. And also I thought it kind of looked cool because it has the little logo on there and the thing. I think it came out pretty nice. The original plan for this was to take our top tier patron and give this to them. And that's what we did. Well, yeah, I guess we did it at this point because I should have already shipped this out by the time that this video comes out. Our top tier patron was Leonard. You probably have seen him at the end of every video, if you guys watch that far, in the producer, Patreon producer credits. He is a top tier patron and he's been around forever, and he's supported us a lot. So thank you, Leonard, for being there for us. And thanks to the rest of you guys too. Leonard just has been around for a long time and has always supported us and has bought a lot of wands. So I figured, let's see who is the top tier, and it ended up being him, luckily. And hopefully you like this display. I was gonna say wand, but you like this display. Yeah, thank you. If you guys want to join the Patreon, you feel free. Obviously, you know, it's It's not free, but you can feel free to join if you want, or you can join as a member on here on YouTube. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I know that it was a mess and there was a lot. Hopefully in the future, when I get the workshop done, which I'm hoping is this year, it's costing a lot more than I originally thought it was going to cost. So it's not going great. But we still got installation, walls, AC, heater, flooring, and then like move everything in, figure out location. We still got a lot of work to do. I think the next video that I do will possibly be an update video on that. So if you guys stay tuned for that, maybe you'll like that video too. Cool. All right. And thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.